What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. And we got to talk, man. Who's up with me? Who's up with me? We got some breaking news that we must discuss concerning the former heavyweight champion, Ànthony Joshua. One on the chat. Salute to you. Counterpunch to you. 3 on the chat. We got a lot to discuss, guys. Let's load them up. Let's load them up. Come one, come all. Let's talk about Mr. George Foreman. Where's everybody at? Where we from? We got 5 on the chat. Let's get some likes on the board. Let's get some likes on the board. SG Barca 4. Where are you from, sir? South Florida. Mike D. Hello, fight fans. Thank you. Really appreciate you guys' support. Let's get those likes up, guys. We got to talk about George Foreman. We know George Foreman is the man of many talents. He's a fighter. He's a preacher. He's a grill man, right? Now he wants to lend his hand to Ànthony Joshua. And of course, during the all-exclusive interview, Ànthony Joshua responded back saying that he has to reach out to George Foreman. Peter Ansha from the UK, appreciate the love, appreciate the love. Thank you, Mike D. It's all about the work, brother. I might look like this one month and might have the beard again the next month. I go with the territory. Koray Balkurtas, salute from Turkey, counterpunch to you. Nice. Rashak Sani, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Let's talk, guys. Let's talk. We got 24. We got 24 on the chat. What do you guys think about George Foreman? Big D's. What's up, Big D's? Counterpunch to you, Big D's. Yes, sir. What's your question, man? What's your beef? What you got? TBO, the best of. What's up? I thought you were somebody else. Yeah, that's what I'm getting all the time. You know, I haven't shaved in a long time. It's been the whole summer that work required me to shave. You know, so it is what it is. You know, when it's time to cut it off, it's time to cut it off. Mark Kinsella, morning from the UK. That's it, brother. That's it. It is morning, you guys. Men's Law Entertainment. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. David Cash, what's up, brother? Thank you for your support. From the Bahamas, I got to get out that way. I got to get out that way to the Bahamas. Love the beaches. Love the beautiful blue water. Love it. Adrian McDonald, man, I appreciate that, and man, I try. From Italy, Men's Law. Wow, from Italy. I'm Mexican, and I think Andy Ruiz is a puppet. SG Barca 4. You must have seen my video earlier today. You know, I was just doing that. You know, we'll talk a little bit about that. Peter, salute. Absolutely. Mr. Landlord's in the house. Salute, brother. Counterpunch to you. Come to Mexico. Why not? I don't care where it's at. You know, I've been to Mexico many times. Mexico City, Guadalajara. I've been there, man. Big, beautiful city. Mike D, Joshua has no confidence, and I doubt if George can fix that. Okay. Well, I don't know about confidence. I think he was a little bit too honest. I think that's something that he could have kept to himself about having second thoughts. But I mean, you got to respect the guy for being honest, but it just really doesn't do anything for the fans. You know what I mean? For his fans, because that makes them feel unsure about him. You know what I mean? Mike D, you know, because I feel that at the end of the day, if he didn't think he could win, I don't think he would have took the fight. I think he would have went the route of the tune-ups and shit like that, like Tyson Fury's doing, you know. And I just actually posted a video on Tyson Fury. You know, when you guys have time, check that out. But no, honestly, I think he believes he can win. And he said if he had a couple slip-ups or whatever, and the way he fought, you know, and I know he's watching that fight. Andy Ruiz said he saw it over 30 times, so I'm imagining Anthony Joshua saw it over 100, right? So, you know, we have to know. Jay Gribben, do you think Chris Arreola will fight again? And if so, who do you think he should fight? You know what? Jay Gribben, I think he should fight someone durable, but like Christian Hammer would be perfect for Chris Arreola. Those guys are kind of like on the same level, right? So I think someone like Christian Hammer would be very good for Chris Arreola at this point in his career. Somebody tough, sturdy, get him some rounds in. If he can put his combinations together. He didn't have the punching power to keep Kalnaki off of him. You have to have the punching power to keep that guy off of you, because he's like this. He's like fucking Frankenstein that punches at you. If you don't do something to stop him, he's gonna just come and beat you up. You have to make him respect your punching power, because if you don't, he's just gonna come and do whatever he wants to do, and that'll be that. And then that'll be enough to either put you down or win the fight and beat you up all at the same damn time. You know what I mean? Salute to Counterpunch. The knowledge is strong. Thank you, brother. I try. Loke Dog in the house. How Foreman can help Joshua? Well, let's look at it this way. He's not known to be a trainer, but he's a fighter, you know, so he knows a lot about the fight game. And what we have around, or what Joshua has around him, is a lot of people that are not fighters. They're just like friends, close friends, that inner circle, that warm market of people that he has. He has those guys around him. Whereas when he's training, he needs fighting people that know the fight business, you know, that knows techniques, that has experience in that aspect. Not someone that just, you know, picks and totes his bags around and shit and makes him smile and giggle and, you know, that shit. You know, he has a job to do, and I think he needs to focus on that job, especially after dealing with his first loss. I think it should be more serious. I think it should be more stringent. I think that's what he needs. So someone like George Foreman, someone that was also a gold Olympian, someone that also was undefeated and took a loss unexpectedly. Understand this, people. George Foreman was 40-0 with 35 knockouts when he got taken out, dropped for the first time, knocked out by Muhammad Ali. Now, ask yourself this question. Was Muhammad Ali a power puncher? No. Ali would be the first one to tell you, no, I'm not a power puncher. I'm not known to be a power puncher, but it's speed, you know, catching them with angles, punching them with punches you don't see, those type of punches, you know. That's how he got Foreman out of there. He caught him with punches that he did not see, okay? And he was the first to do it. He was the first to stop George Foreman. So George Foreman knows what it's like to make a comeback. He knows what it's like to be on the canvas. He knows what it's like to be upset, okay? Because Ali wasn't a spring chicken at that point, people. We gotta remember, this guy, Ali, he was a loudmouth to a lot of people. You had Howard Cosell. This guy was talking shit like, no, I don't think he can handle a big, strong George Foreman, a guy that hits like Sonny Liston. He used to spar with Sonny Liston, that had tributes to Sonny Liston. So it was really George Foreman's objective to get revenge on Ali for the young Cassius Clay beating George Foreman. I mean, for Sonny Liston. You see what I'm saying? So it is what it is, you know. Robert Garcia is the best trainer in the world. H Money in the boxing voice. I don't know. He could be. But, you know, I don't honestly think that's the best route for AJ. I honestly don't. You know, because if he had... Because Roberto Garcia is a Mexican fighter, and he's a Mexican fighter known to take too many chances, right? That's how he got knocked out by Diego Corrales. He took too many punches, and he was winning the fight with Diego Corrales. People forget that, you know, and that's when Diego Corrales won the 130-pound championship from Roberto Garcia when he was a fighter, and he was a very good fighter. Go back and look at Roberto Garcia's fights. I mean, before he was the heavy-set, middle-aged trainer, right? He was a champion, you know? But he was that guy that fought with his heart instead of his brain. I don't think someone like that is best for someone like AJ, because I think AJ's problem was that, but Joshua's problem is mentally, as Mike Tyson would have said. Well, it was mental. That means he wasn't trying to get in the ring with him. But anyway, Roberto Garcia, H Money, he was a guy that fought with the heart on the sleeve, okay? So when he did that, he wasn't able to turn it off. I don't think someone like that will help Joshua. Joshua was throwing too many punches mid-range against someone shorter like Ruiz, okay? That's a dead giveaway, right? Like his trainer, Rob McCracken, told him, keep him long. Don't look for the hook. Go with the 1-2, the jab in the right hand. Keep your distance. He didn't do that, okay? He got Ruiz hurt. He went in for the kill. He threw a right hand. So what's left, right? The right part of his face is left, wide open. You know, and he caught Ruiz. He could catch Ruiz with a quick, sneaky right. It ain't like Ruiz was ion speeds above Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua was just in a position that he didn't need to be, you know? So George Foreman possibly can teach him how to fight long, you know? Fighting a shorter fighter. Think about it. Who did George Foreman get popular for beating? Does anybody know? Does anybody know the answer to that question? George Foreman. What was his most memorable win? I mean, besides Michael Moore. That was his comeback. Joe Frazier. Absolutely. Good job, H Money, from the boxing voice. You know, no, it wasn't Ali. He was famous for beating and destroying Joe Frazier after Joe Frazier already beat Ali. Okay. And he beat Ali where? Madison Square Garden. But he gets destroyed by the young Foreman, okay? Which was at that time, he was 38-0, okay? So everyone assumed, believing in triangle theories, right? That since Foreman destroyed Frazier and Frazier beat Ali, Foreman was going to walk right through Ali, right? That's what everybody thought. And Ken Norton, absolutely. And that was actually his second fight of his defense after getting the belt from Frazier. You know, so yeah, he beat Ken Norton, and Ken Norton broke fucking Ali's jaw, people. So this is what I'm saying. George Foreman is a guy that knows the experience. He's been there. I've heard George Foreman for years commentate HBO's boxing. The man knows what he's talking about. So if a man knows what he's talking about, and the knowledge that he has up here with 50 some odd years of experience, I think he might be an asset. Put it this way. I don't think George Foreman could hurt, right? I think he could only help. You know? Wilder is going to fight Ortiz, and Fury is fighting that Weiland guy. I think it's an embarrassment on Fury's part as far as taking challenges goes. Do you think Fury's afraid of Wilder? Jay Gribben, I don't think he's afraid of Wilder. I just think that he's trying to secure that money. I think he's listening to his promoters. I think he's listening to them a little bit too much and buying into the promotional bullshit instead of fighting the best. You know, I just find it strange from Fury's point of view how he gets off and how he has the nerve to say everybody's a fucking bum, but you're fighting people that we don't know. You know what I mean? Like, let's just keep it real. You got to fight someone that's known. You know, Tom Swartz, okay, you just started the contract with ESPN. That's your coming out fight. I get that. But this next fight, come on, man, that's some bullshit. You know, that's some bullshit. You know? What about Floyd Mayweather Sr. training Anthony Joshua? Wait a minute. You know, that would be very interesting, simply because I know that they would work more on speed. But then, honestly, that's going to be a process. I'm going to tell you why. To increase Joshua's speed, he has to give up that weight, that muscle mass. The question is, could he do that in this amount of months? The answer is yes. But the question you ask yourself with Anthony Joshua is, did he get the power from the muscle, from gaining, from lifting weights, or does he naturally have good punching power? If he's like a Collie or somebody like that already has punching power just still by being long and rangy, or Daniel Dubois, if he's like that, if he naturally has that power, it would be great, because but he would learn how to fight long. He would learn how to throw combinations at the right time, and he would probably learn him the shell or the crossover, which I don't know. I think at this point, you don't want to just throw him in there with a new technique. You know what I'm saying? That would be kind of risky to me, you know? Collie called roller. He got the power from the roids. Wow. SG Barga 4. Kurt, don't know if you remember a 19-year-old Danny Gonzalez that Mayweather promoted and said he was going to be the next big thing. Mayweather told his fans to follow this kid, and you can see him on YouTube. Okay. Danny Gonzalez. Y'all got to check him out. A lot of his power is tied into mass. His mass is similar to Vlad. That's a better matchup since most of Vlad's techniques is from Steward's training. Man, I miss Emanuel Steward, bro. I miss Manny. You know, that would be someone that I would definitely recommend for Joshua, because see, Emanuel Steward knew how to prepare a taller fighter for whoever. You know, he knew like he was good with Vladimir. He was good with Lennox Lewis. Hell, I would recommend Lennox Lewis if he wasn't such a fucking criticizing ass blower at times. You know what I mean? That would be the perfect person for Anthony Joshua. If he could put aside his ego and his differences and his bullshit, I don't even know if Lennox Lewis, if Anthony Joshua reached out to Lennox Lewis, I don't even think he could take that due to his involvement with PBC. I don't even think he could do that. I think that they have some weird ass contract when they commentate where they're not allowed to deal with other people that are signed with other promotional companies, whether that's commentating, promotions, fighters, etc. I don't think that he can do that, you know? Charles Fears, you hear about Lewis going to Ruiz. No. What happened with Ruiz and Lewis? Talk to me. I didn't hear about that. What's up with that? What do you think about Virgil Hunter training Anthony Joshua? Virgil Hunter, my problem with Hunter, he's a good talker. Like, he's like good at motivating and stuff. He's like Teddy Atlas. You know, those guys are, good at like hyping the fighter up, keeping the fighter's morale intact between rounds. You know what I'm saying? But back to Hunter, I don't think Hunter would be a good choice, simply because my only problem with Hunter is he hasn't been a fighter. He's always been a trainer. You know what I mean? Actually, I would recommend Salas, the Cuban trainer. Do you know why though? Because Cuban fighters, they learn how to stick and move. One thing in that fight I noticed about Andy Ruiz, and he mentioned that earlier as an insult, he did not like Anthony Joshua moving around that fucking ring. He didn't. He couldn't catch him. He was out of range because he had to launch up at him to even attempt an attack, right? And that bothered Ruiz. And then Ruiz later on said all he knows how to do is run around the ring. He doesn't want to, he's not a good fighter. He's not a good boxer, right? Remember that? He was pissed because Joshua was making it difficult. But if you're smart, you will be able to use lateral movements, then create traps, you know, for punches of your own. Okay, let me explain. When you create traps and you're going side to side, so say you're moving side to side, right, with your feet. So wherever the fighter comes in, if he comes down your center line, you're able to move left or you're able to move right. Right? Either way, if he doesn't cut off the ring, you have those two options. At the same time, you're cutting off, you're creating more distance between you and the guy by going left or right. Now, going straight back is kind of dangerous because the guy can step with your step. Okay? If that makes sense. Okay? This is, you know, defense 101 here. All right? Well, if Anthony Joshua learned from a Cuban fighter, Cuban fighters are good at setting traps by using their distance. Look at Lara. A lot of people think, oh, he just runs around and all that shit, right? Well, what he's doing is he's creating a counter because he knows you're going to come in to, it's like cat and mouse. He knows you're going to come in to make your own attack, either with a jab or a left hook or a right hand. So once he does that, he's able to create enough distance going side or side to side and then countering on his own and then eluding, right? Scoring a point on you. So he's countering your counter by creating distance first and you're coming after him because he's ready to counter right back at you when you instep, okay? Cuban trainers learn or show fighters how to fight like that, especially someone with the height advantage and the reach advantage like Anthony Joshua. Now, will it be the most exciting fight? No, it won't. People will boo, hell yeah, they will. But what'll happen, Ruiz could end up getting knocked out if Joshua knew how to use that method. He could get KO'd because he's trying to create distance without cutting off the ring. Now, Ruiz, he is pretty good with cutting off the ring, but he's not the fastest guy on his feet. If you notice, he's fast with his hands and his upper body movement, right? So those are what these guys do, you know. Mike D, but Joshua failed to maximize that opportunity. He did. You know why? Because he did not have the experience, nor was the trainer equipped to train him that. Rob McCracken did not teach him that. You see what I'm saying? So, no, he didn't. But that goes back on your training. That's why we're here. That's why we're talking about George Foreman. Now, what worries me about George Foreman, honestly? He doesn't help him in the speed category whatsoever. So I don't think it's about emulating the fighter that's trying to train you. But I do think that George Foreman is very experienced in fighting shorter attackers. You know what I'm saying? Frazier, Ruiz, shorter guys, right? They're shorter. So they can cause problems to taller fighters. Even Ruiz said it himself and admitted, hey, you know, I don't like fighting people smaller than me or shorter than me. You know what I'm saying? So shorter fighters are a problem because they can get down low, you know, and it makes you hard to hit. It makes you angle your punches in a way that normally you don't punch. You don't practice punching downward at a child or a kid or a midget or a little person or someone much shorter. You know what I mean? It changes your strength in your punches also. Ashley, hello from the UK. Counterpunch to you. Thank you for your support. Jonathan Banks should train Anthony Joshua. He trains Golovkin, and he trained Klitschko after Emanuel Steward died. Jonathan Banks would be good, you know. But the thing about bringing in another trainer, you always have the fear of these two trainers in the two different ways they train. They should mostly clash. Jermaine Johnson, counterpunch from the UK, counterpunch to you, brother. Much love, much love. Nathan Day, I've been hooching around town all day and no guys wanted free pooch. Okay. AJ don't anything. Well, I think he could have knocked out Ruiz. He tried to do it too early. And that's something that he mentioned, you know. I heard that he was worried about Deontay Wilder. Let me tell you guys something. Joshua was worried not only about Wilder, he was worried about whoever else that he could fight besides the replacement guy in front of him. Charles Douglas, counterpunch from Nigeria. Good morning, Ty Okan. You know, but America or Saudi Arabia? Oasis #1, I don't give a shit. I honestly don't care. As long as there's no bullshit with legal troubles and all that, I don't want to hear none of that. You know what I mean? Coop Dog 86, I will, brother, thank you. No jokes, you've just been counterpunched. Oasis, Ireland, yes sir. Is it Cheaty? Morning, counterpunch, shout out to the UK. Shout outs to you. Now let them fight in Saudi Arabia. Now, if Saudi Arabia, if the people or the owner of the venue wants to offer a certain amount of money like they did Amir Khan, fucking why not? Why not? Go for it. Fight them in Saudi Arabia. Win, lose, or draw, everyone gets paid, and hopefully we have a great night of boxing. Win, lose, or draw. If Ruiz beats him and upsets him, there should be no reasons why he shouldn't fight in any other countries. So this should break his, well, his cherry is already broken. Now maybe, just maybe there's some insecurity coming from Ruiz simply because he lost that decision with Parker. And that might be in the back of his mind somewhere that it's a phobia, it's a mental thing in his brain that he feels not confident enough to fight in a country or someone else's country and feel like he could get a fair crack at the whip. That could be the case with Ruiz. So you can't overlook that because a lot of people, not myself, thought that he beat Joseph Parker. You know what I mean? And I don't think so. I think Joseph Parker had a good fighting strategy. He had a great fight plan and he did that really well. And, you know, I have to take my hat off to him. No, he doesn't supposed to, and you can't knock out everyone. You know what I mean? Maybe Joshua doesn't knock out Ruiz. You know what I'm saying? Ruiz, have you seen fucking Ruiz's fucking jaw structure? He don't have a jaw and he don't have a fucking chin. You know what I mean? So what do you think? You know? Like he looks like he has a good chin. He took that punch well and he moved on, you know? Everything that happened during the lead up to the fight showed AJ was going to lose. Well, look, he had a lot of distractions. He didn't know who the fuck he was fighting. You know, you can't be 100% focused on that, you know? I mean, you just can't. You just can't be, though, you can't be that way, you know? It's just not gonna happen. But Kevin Berry, you know, I mean, hey, they're all with the zone now, right? You know, I mean, Kevin Berry would be a pretty good fighter. He could implement the same fight plan because they've done it before. right? I would go for that. Kevin Berry would be great. Matter of fact, a friend of mine mentioned that. I think LaRue mentioned that. Shouts out to you. I think, yeah, Kevin Berry would be very good. You know. No excuses on the rematch. If he's good enough, he will win, and win. If not, rebuild. Hey, there you go. That's it. Men's Law Entertainment, man. Thanks for stopping by. We'll catch you on the next chat, bro. Have a good night. Banks is on the zone with GGG. Yeah, yep, Triple G. You know, and I think he has the training, he has the money. Why doesn't he fight the fucking fighters? What the fuck is up with Canelo and Golovkin? I don't want to make this about Canelo and Golovkin, though. You know, save that for another time. You know, so. But AJ doesn't have the footwork of Parker. No, he doesn't. But AJ was able to hang in there with Parker at least, right? So you got to give him that much without getting countered and, you know what I mean, and getting punches off. Ruiz gets the belts borrowed. Jim Bob, what's up? All the way from Hull, England. Counterpunch to you, brother. Thank you for jumping in. AJ was protected. White had him in trouble. Referee stopped Parker from knocking AJ out in close. Well, you know, Oasis #1. I don't know how protected AJ was. You know what I mean? I know a referee can fuck up a good fight. You know, I know a lot of people talked about that. I can't really argue about that. You know, that's why you have to be careful on what referee gets assigned to fight to referee these type of fights, especially a fucking unification, right? That was a unification bout there. You know, Parker had a belt on the line, and because of a referee and their shenanigans, stopped Joseph Parker from fighting on the inside, you know. But it's one of those shitty things about boxing you really can't do anything about. You really can't. That's the fucked up part about it. You can't do anything about it. You just really got to ride with it and accept it on whoever they bring in there. You know, you have some referees, these guys, when you hit low, they swear it's low. And you know damn well it's not. And then, of course, the fighter will go with it because the fighter wants that point deduction. You know what I mean? So they're not going to go against the referee. They're going to go with the referee. You know, so the referee steps in with a thing. They're going to, you know, play it off. You know, then they're going to show this reaction that something happened and really didn't. So you got a lot of bullshit when it comes to referees. And I'm actually doing a special on referees. I'm gonna do a live chat about referees. I cannot see Ruiz keeping those belts since he lost. I trusted AJ. We have to see, man. You know, we have to see. Dress separated them because Parker was headbutting AJ every time he got inside the ring. I don't know. I have to go back and look at that fight. And you know what I mean? I saw it in Austin. And I just, you know, I knew it was a chess match. So you just have to, one of those, it's like watching a tennis match when you're dealing with fights like that, because fights like that require you to focus on what's going on. You got to turn everything down and look at it without any distractions. Fuck the commentators, fuck all that. You have to just watch the fight to see what went on and what was going on. You know, was Joseph Parker initiating an attack when he got on the inside? You know what I mean? Was the ref too overzealous to break them up each and every time? So I got to go back and watch that. It's a lot of factors dealing with that particular fight. AJ's early fights were always on the inside, so I don't understand why anyone would say Parker lost because of that. Well, Parker was the shorter fighter. Again, I got to see that fight again because it's been a while since I saw it. It's been over a year since I saw that fight. Ruiz beats AJ again. Ruiz has a better chin than AJ. You know, Ruiz does have a hell of a chin. He has one of those Julio Cesar Chavez senior chins. You know what I mean? I mean, he can take a punch, definitely. Andy Ruiz got lucky. Anthony Joshua will knock him out in the rematch, like Lewis knocked out Hasim Rockland in a rematch. Well, we'll see. That would be something. As long as the fighters, man, really give us a good fight and not get too fucked up. Because at the end of the day, they're the ones sacrificing things. You know, short-term memory, mental speech, you know, possible speech impediments. It happens in boxing. You know, even the fighters that weren't even known to get hit a lot, James Toney, Pernell Whitaker, guys like that. These guys were masters of avoiding punches, and they suffer punch drunk syndrome. They're punchy. ABS #1, good morning from the UK, Kurt. Great channel. Keep it up. Thank you very much, brother. Counterpunch to you. AJ was terrible. AJ was distracted, Mark Smith. AJ was a lot of damn things. Terrible, I wouldn't use those sorts of words, but yeah, it was a terrible fucking situation that he put himself in. He shouldn't have been in there. You know, based on the things that we heard that happened to him and whatever, he shouldn't even been in there. This is the fight that really matters. Because regardless of what Anthony Joshua says, all this no excuses, more and more things come out on why he lost. You know? Singing in from Minneapolis. What's up, Kurt? Dragon Leg, what's up to you? Counterpunch to you. No jabs and couldn't keep the distance. Mike D, absolutely. Norab McHenry, greetings from the Netherlands. Counterpunch to you. Manny Ortega, counterpunch, what's good? Much love from Palm Beach, Florida. Much love to you. Counterpunch to you. Freedom Fighting 123. Good to really been reality being dropped from across the pond. Yeah, well, that's what I try to do, drop reality. The money has changed Andy Ruiz, and he's not the same fighter in the first fight. He might fucking go out like Roberto Duran. Remember him? You know, he might go out like that. He bought his mama a house, he bought himself a mansion, he bought some new cars, bought some new jewelry, you know, talking some shit. So I could buy that. I could see him changing, you know, but remember, money doesn't change you. Money just reveals you. Remember that. So it's not all about the money, you know. It's not all about how a person is. It's just when a person gets to a certain position he wants to be in, then he can relax and become this person that he really was anyway. So he doesn't have to worry about money. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have to worry about that, you know? Mr. Varasha, morning from South Africa. Good channel, bro. Keep punching. Yes, sir. I thank you, man. Thank you. I'm going to keep punching. I'm going to keep counter punching. Everything I see, everything I hear. Absolutely. Now, the belts will be coming back to the UK. Well, we have to see. We got to get a fucking venue first. You know what I mean? We got to get a venue first. So we will soon see if they will. They got to make the fight first, you know. So let's get the fight secured first. You know what I mean? Let's get that shit first, because we're talking about the fight at hand, but then they haven't ironed out the details. Let's just live by faith that the details will be ironed out and the fight will be made. You know, that's what we need to focus on. Us as fans and people surrounding this shit, right? Ruiz back garden with his uncle as ref. LOL. Calico Ryder. Too much running around from the AJ camp. They don't want the Ruiz smoke. You think it's AJ's side that's keeping the fight from not happening? Keep it up, brother. From New Zealand, Steve Lewis. Rematch, Parker will bring them belts home. Steve Lewis. You know, it's funny. What if Ruiz beats Joshua? You know that's going to be the fight that he should go after, right? I mean, he could go for the unification. But then again, what if Fury beats Wilder? If he beats Wilder, you know that fucking Ruiz fight ain't gonna likely to happen because Tyson Fury, I know how he operates now. Tyson Fury operates like this. He will fight a fight of difficulty, then he won't fight a fight of difficulty for long. He'll fight some bullshit fights, then he'll fight another risky fight. So if he does beat Deontay Wilder, he won't be in any hurry to fight Andy Ruiz. In fact, he might not even fight Andy Ruiz for another year or so. You know what I mean? That's how he's cut. He will do that. He might beat Deontay Wilder in his third fight, right? And fight the other two ESPN fights that are bullshit. Tyson Fury might do that shit just to collect all the money, outbox Deontay Wilder, and fight two other motherfuckers we ain't saw. He could do that, people. You know what I mean? So that would leave Ruiz with what? Fighting Parker. Because Parker's the only guy to this day that's beat him. You see what I'm saying? And who is Parker with? DAZN. So he's fought on DAZN twice. You think DAZN won't want him on his platform? Of course they would. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, that fight could really happen. That fight could be Joseph Parker and Andy Ruiz could fight for the rematch for the unified championship of the world. And you know where it's going to be taking place? It won't be in no fucking Australia or New Zealand. It's going to be right here in the USA. Right? So it could happen. And then if Parker if he has that blueprint, because let me tell you something. Every single fighter has someone else's number. Someone has that puzzle piece to beat you. Well, the way they fight, the way they throw their right hand, the matchup, their height, their speed. They just have the fighting style to beat you. Styles make fights. Styles make fights, okay? AJ might not ever be able to beat Andy Ruiz. He might not. He's too fucking short. But does that mean that Joshua couldn't smoke Wilder? No. People worried about, his right hand. If Wilder hits you with the right hand, you're knocked out any fucking way. So you can forget about it. But does that mean he can't knock out Wilder? You know, does that mean he can't beat Fury? No. Those guys fight nothing like Andy Ruiz. So I don't know why people would reference Wilder when they're talking about AJ's loss to Ruiz. It makes no sense. None of that shit does. You know? That dude fights totally different from Deontay Wilder, Ruiz does. Ruiz fights like Ruiz. He's a compact fighter, great combination banger. Likes to work the body into the head. Fast up combinations upstairs, good upper body movement, slow on his feet. Short, got a good chin, obviously. Never been down until June 1st. Of course he has a good chin, right? You know what I mean? So yeah, he'll be a dangerous fight for anybody. Anybody that's tall that don't know how to use their height. someone that likes to fucking emulate Mike Tyson like Anthony Joshua likes to do. You see him crouching and shit like that? He don't supposed to be fighting like that. What is he crouching for? Do you know why fighters crouch and dip? They dip to get under punches. And those are normally people that do that or shorter fighters. You know what I mean? That's it. That's all. AJ doesn't need to do that shit. He needs to lean back, if not, side to side. Not fucking dip up under or roll. You know what I mean? You don't fight like that. Rob McCracken has told Anthony Joshua, what are you doing? Why are you fighting like Mike Tyson? You're not Mike Tyson. You're not fucking 5'10". You're 6'5". You know what I mean? You can't fight like him. But you can tell at times Anthony Joshua likes to emulate the people that he admires. And that can be a problem. That's what I'm telling you guys. You see what I'm saying? So, back to George Foreman. George Foreman is a taller guy. He knows how to fight tall. He doesn't fight like he's fucking 5'10". He uses his height, you know? He was able to push the shoulder down, you know, the left shoulder. He was able to push the left shoulder down and chop with his own left hand and still staying tall with Frazier. Okay, that's what he was able to do. And he was very successful. He put his ass down 6 times because of that. He didn't get down to the level of Frazier's left hook. So he could throw that rising hammer, sledgehammer left hook that he's known for, Frazier. That's why he got demolished, because George Foreman stayed tall, pushed him back, created the distance. And then it was basically he shoved him back, created distance. When Frazier tried to come back in with anything looping, he would catch fucking uppercuts and left hooks and rights, chopping rights downward. Okay, watch that fight again. You can clearly see George Foreman using his height to his advantage. Now, can he show that to Anthony Joshua? That remains to be seen. But he does know how to do it in the ring. So I would imagine, you know, that he's capable of doing that. You know, he's capable of training Anthony Joshua. He's been there, he's seen it, and he's seen it all. You know, what's Foreman's record? 5 losses? 68 by knockout or some shit? Something like that. Let's check out George Foreman for a minute. Let's see what the hell George Foreman's record is. Uh, 76 wins, 68 by KO, I was right, and 5 losses. So, you know, the guy knows how to bang. Look at his knockout percentage, you know, and Joshua needs something. He needs an additive. And I know he wants to save face with, by keeping Rob McCracken on. You know what I mean? Mr. Landlord, man, I'm glad your shift's over. Glad you enjoyed. Thanks for coming by. We'll catch you on the next one. You've been counterpunched. Cinnamon Savage, what do you think about Dimitri Bivol? Dimitri Bivol is a very dangerous fight. That's why Canelo Alvarez wanted no part of him whatsoever after being called out by Bivol. Okay? Nobody wants that smoke from someone like that. He's like a young, Asian, fast, aggressive Gennady Golovkin, just bigger. That's dangerous, you know? Well, yeah, but he's not gonna do it, you know? His loyalty to McCracken is by far, you know? You look at Canelo. Canelo didn't get rid of the Reynosos, right? You know, I mean, when he could have, because he lost to Mayweather, but look what kind of fighter he is. He's a good fighter and he's learning more. I don't know if that's necessarily because of their help or is something that he learns. And, you know, because I think Canelo's like a sponge. I think Canelo's the kind of guy that he will use what he's learned by the people that gave him difficulty. I think that about Canelo. I think he's able to become a chameleon. You know, he absorbs that experience from other fighters. Like, look at Floyd Mayweather. If you notice how much more defensive minded that Canelo became because of that, look at his tough fight with Lara. Look at how Lara fought him. And look at how he fought Gennady Golovkin in the first fight. It was very similar. He used lateral movement. He used a little bit of the roll, right? But mostly he used his feet. Okay, so Canelo's able to use what a person used against him once upon a time in earlier bouts, you know? I believe Canelo beats both Andrade and Charlo. You know what, Logic? I think he has a good chance of beating them both. But here's the thing. We have to see. Fuck what you feel that you can do it. That's my problem with Floyd Mayweather. I think Floyd Mayweather can beat a lot of these welterweights now, but he won't do it. So what that means he's worried. That means he doesn't have confidence in himself. So if he doesn't have confidence in himself, I can't have confidence in him. You see what I'm saying? You know, you can't give someone, yeah, I'm sure he'll beat those guys. Well, he has to know that too. Those guys have to know they can beat these fighters. You know, that's why I will always respect Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones Jr. is the guy that was the baddest man on the fucking planet. Why? Because if he heard that someone else is better than him, he said he couldn't sleep at night. Oh, really? Bring that motherfucker home. You think he can fight me? I'm Roy Jones Jr. I'm pound for pound the best. Y'all must have forgot. I'm the man to beat. Okay, you know what? Sign a contract. We'll get him in the ring. Send him to P-Town. We're going to fight right now. We're going to fight right here in my hometown. P-Town to the place, baby. Pensacola. You know? Roy was off the chain. But Roy knew. That was the guy that dared to be great. That was the guy that wanted to know that if he was the best. He took on all the tests. That's what we need now in the sport of boxing. We don't need this bullshit that Mayweather implemented and spread this bullshit doctrine to everybody. You know what I mean? So that's what we need. Good move, Joshua, to bring in Foreman, but not enough time. Still too soon. You know what? If he's going to bring him in, he needs to do it now. Not 2 weeks from now, not a month from now. Now. Bring him in. Work on the things. You know, George Foreman first has to qualify himself worthy to training him. You know? But I'm assuming that George Foreman already has a game plan implemented in his mind before making statements. So we don't know. Adrissa Cargbo. We don't know yet. It's targeted sometime in December. We know that much. So, you know, we will find out as soon as something is confirmed. Because what I'm tired of is, oh, it's supposed to be this date, and then they change it. And then people come on the channel talking shit like, oh man, you said it was confirmed. According to a source, it was confirmed. You know what I mean? Don't fucking kill the messenger here, you know? I'm just reporting the news and counterpunching and giving my take on it. That's all I do. You know? Roy Jones Jr. N.O. Roy Jones Jr. should have retired after the John Lewis fight. Look, let me counterpunch you. You know, Roy Jones Jr. should have retired after fucking John the Quiet Man Ruiz fight. He had nothing more to prove at that point. The one loss he had on this record was to Griffin, and that was bullshit. You know, they had to make a mark on the man's perfect record. But he should have quit after that, bottom line. You know, or he should have went after Hopkins and fought Hopkins at that time. He shouldn't have fought Antonio Tarver because, see, Roy did a progression, 160, 168, 175, heavyweight, right? Then he starts going down. That's not how your body works. You don't start, losing weight to come down to fight in a place that you've already conquered. You don't do that. He's been there, done that. He's had no reason to lose that weight, to lose muscle mass, because that's a dead giveaway. That's a recipe for fucking failure, people. He didn't supposed to do that. Absolutely. He already beat Hopkins too. Again, so like I originally said, right? He needed to retire after defeating John the Quiet Man Ruiz. No relation to Andy. Yeah, he would be the GOAT in boxing. Manny Ortega, he would have been the fucking GOAT. All those unnecessary losses was like him trying to do something like I didn't get why. You know what I mean? But it's just like, look at it like Manny Pacquiao, right? Well, Manny Pacquiao, I don't know why he's still fighting. I wanted him to retire years ago. I wanted Roy to retire years ago. I wanted Sugar Shane Mosley to retire years ago. They wouldn't fucking do it. It's a school of hard knocks for a reason. It's the sport that I love, that I hate so much, because you see fighters that you admire, respected, lived up to, right? And then you see them get old. You see them take punishment, right? You see their physicalities declining, okay? It's sad to fucking see. I hate that. I hate that kind of shit. Yeah, he did in the rematch, but we all know that Bernard Hopkins is an alien. He was an executioner. He got abducted by aliens, and they spit his ass back down on the planet, and he started fighting another 5 fucking years. You know what I mean? But could he do that with a prime Roy? We already saw that, didn't we? He couldn't. Roy was just too much, too fast, too sharp, too much Roy. And he couldn't do that. So you could say, yeah, he got his revenge. Sure, you could say that. But then again, Roy had been what? Beat, knocked out so many times before Bernard got to him. So the damage was already done. So we can't really make a good assessment. I guess for Hopkins, he could say, I beat Roy Jones. But could he say I was the only one that beat Roy Jones? Or I was the first one that beat Roy Jones? Legitimately? No, he can't. You know what I'm saying? So he just came along when everybody else was beating Roy. So it really holds no merit to me. It's not as much. I mean, he's still Roy Jones Jr. because the same Roy Jones Jr. was the same guy that beat Jeff Lacey to a fucking pulp. You know what I mean? And Jeff Lacey was a guy that could punch like hell, right? He got dismantled by Calzaghe, sure. But he tried to make a comeback on Roy, and Roy showed him that y'all must have forgot. You guys remember HBO Boxing? It was a boxing game on PlayStation. It was the only game with Roy Jones Jr. and George Foreman. It was kind of shitty, but you had to learn how to play it. It's pretty good, though. It had some pretty good gameplay on it, How do you feel about Calzaghe, who beat both Hopkins and Jones? Yes, past their prime, but retired undefeated. Logic, Calzaghe, he's underrated. And he's underrated for a reason. That just shows you he'd retired undefeated. But who at the end of the day, who would you remember? Joey Calzaghe, Roy Jones Jr., or Bernard Hopkins? You're gonna always come in this order. Roy Jones, Bernard Hopkins, then Calzaghe. You know what I mean? So since he fought both guys at a shitty part, he really didn't get the respect, Manny Pacquiao will end bad in boxing if he keeps fighting. I want him to retire, but I love watching him fight. Look, Manny Ortega, you are the problem then. I love watching them fight too, but we have to remember something. These guys make their own decisions. And it won't be good for Manny Pacquiao. I don't want to see him in there with Spence now. I seen Keith Thurman give him a run for his money. And we could see some of those punches were bothering him. Some of those punches were because he was tired. He was fatigued. He was trying to catch his second win. It takes a little longer because you're older, okay? It takes you longer to get that win back when you're older, right? A 40-plus-year-old body, you know, he has strong calves and all that, a good foundation, but it was a lot weighing on that, especially 5 or 6 rounds of throwing punches with a younger guy, right? But you're right, I do agree. I'll hate it too, but I hated it for Sugar Shane. I hated it for Roy Jones Jr. Bernard Hopkins was probably the best transition. When fucking Joe Smith knocked his ass out of the ring, he knew it was time to call it quits. That's called discernment, being called wise. Get out, please. You're the oldest champ ever. Please leave. You've made history. Leave. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Calzaghe waited too long to fight the big four. Yeah, he waited too long. He waited too long to get over here. He waited too long to make his presence known. He waited too long, and he killed it. Because the time he could have came over and made an impact on himself is when Roy and Bernard were at their peaks. He didn't do that. He waited. Well, Philip Carl Roberts, he could have fought them earlier, but he didn't. You know, it wasn't because they were fleeting, you know, it was just, timing is very important, especially when you're dealing with that, you know. So, Jones, B-Hop, Calzaghe. Yeah, Babs in the house, Philadelphia. Counterpunch to you. Glad to see you on here. Look, let me tell you something, H-Money. Bernard Hopkins, he wasn't the only one that knocked down Calzaghe. Remember, Roy Jones Jr. did that too. And they both did it in the first rounds. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, they were both able to drop Calzaghe. It was Calzaghe's work rate, and determination. Babs. Counterpunch to you. Retired undefeated Calzaghe, that means an awful lot. Yeah, but what is he doing now? Is he being remembered? Does he have a statue? I know he has a shitload of trophies and belts and shit like that, but would he be remembered as one of the all-time greats? You know what I mean? It was him. He got abducted. Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame. He joined Oscar De La Hoya and Felix Trinidad and those guys on the same year. Because believe it or not, I think they go by an age rate, because all those guys were born in 73, I believe. I know Oscar and Felix Trinidad. Joey Calzaghe was born when? Joey Calzaghe was born when? Damn. Joey Kawasaki. Damn, Google. That's great. I know they wouldn't get that. But I think they do a yearly thing. No, he was actually born in 72. So he's a year older than Felix Trinidad and Oscar De La Hoya, because those guys were close in age when they fought. They were both 26 years old when they fought each other. I think they should have fought again, honestly, at 154, 160, somewhere down the line. They could have, that could have been a good fight, a big fight. You know, that never happened. It was crazy. But hey, Super Joe, the Italian Dragon. He was a bad man, though. I mean, I don't know what the hell he's doing now. But, he has something worth talking about. How do you think AJ beat Wilder? Can you have a quick breakdown of where AJ strengthened Wilder? Right? Easy. Corey Taylor. Deontay Wilder, he does not pressure his opponents. Okay? Anthony Joshua knows how to fight taller fighters. Look at the Klitschko fight. He has no problem fighting someone parallel to him. His problem comes with fighters that are shorter, right? So fighting someone, look at Jarrell Washington, right? Did you remember that fight, Jarrell Washington and Wilder? He had fucking Wilder's eye swelling by using a jab, okay? And Jarrell Washington is not even a fucking boxer. He's like a football player turned boxer. So he was way under the experience level to be doing that to a fucking WBC heavyweight champion like Wilder. You know what I mean? So if you had a jab and you're parallel, because Jarrell Washington was about 6'5", he was a tall guy, you know? How do you think Fury was able to do that round after round after round? In fact, the only thing I give Wilder in a fight between Joshua is his speed and his power. I don't give him anything else because I'm sure Joshua could hurt him. He could hurt him with his punching power. We know Wilder can knock motherfuckers out. That's no question. But one thing we know about Wilder, he can be hurt too. He doesn't like jabs. He stays back and waits for his right hand because he has to see where it's going to land. That is his bread and butter. But if someone that can use a jab and can keep him at bay, it would always keep him out of range. He has to go in and implement that attack, but he really doesn't attack much. He waits for the openings. That's all Wilder does. That's what makes him dangerous because he's like a fucking cobra ready to strike, right? So he sits back with his legs and shit all spread apart, if you notice, right? But he stays high, but because he's ready to throw that right hand. It's very simple, you know? You jab Wilder, keep him out of range of his own jab to stop him from throwing that right hand because he sets his jab up. This is what he does. He either throws a jab and a right hand or a jab, right hand. Nobody taught this motherfucker how to throw a left hook, uppercut. He might throw an uppercut every now and then. He does do that every now and then. But that's only after he has you hurt with that one punch. That's it. If that, he can be outboxed by anybody, you know? Do you think it's still considered a super fight? What's that? Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder? Of course it is. It's just not going to be what it was. And the person that missed out the most is Wilder. People might want to argue, but Wilder missed out all that fucking money. Unless Joshua can make it something bigger by being a two-time unified champion, that might have some merit. That's if Wilder doesn't get smoked by Fury. So it's a lot we don't know right now. But if both of these guys win their fights, that fight will happen and it will be big. Rest assured, people, when Manny Pacquiao got knocked out December 8th, 2012 by Juan Manuel Marquez in the 6th round, 2 minutes, 59 seconds of that round, when he went down, people were like, oh, fuck. The Mayweather fight ain't gonna never happen. Did the Mayweather fight ever happen? Yes, it did. Yes, it did. It happened. So, people, we can chill. Was it a super fight? Yes, it was. It happened because that's the biggest thing that was brewing. Because if Deontay Wilder beats Fury, right? Fury will be out of there. He'll be out the equation. Right? If Joshua beats Ruiz will be out of there. He got paid twice. Okay, see you later. Time to eat some more Snickers and shit. And go home and have another kid. Kid number 6. Right? But who would be left? Joshua Wilder. Wilder's already talking that fight out because he knows he's missed out on all that fucking money, people. He knew he missed out on all that money. So he knows he's talking that fight up. Why do you think now he's talking positive about fighting Joshua? Why? Because he knows that's the guy with the most money. I said it a million times already. That's why he's pumping that fight, because he knows if I knock the fuck out of Fury, I'm going to sit back and wait for Joshua. That's why he's rooting. He's rooting for Joshua to beat Ruiz because he knows that's where the money is. He wants some of that fucking money. You think Showtime is giving him the money that Joshua's getting from Matchroom and the Zone? No. I think that's what built a lot of animosity and shit. Envy. Envy is something where it's something you want that someone else has. That's where that came from. And I think Wilder hated that idea. He hated that idea because he wanted some of that fucking money like AJ. He loved the ring walk. He loved all the fucking special effects and shit popping out of the air and all that. He told Anthony Joshua, I got to do this over here on my side of the pond. He told Anthony Joshua that right before giving him a fucking fist bump. He could have called him out then, right? These are facts, people. You know, hey, you might not think it's a super fight. Just keep living. Just keep living. And watch what I tell you. This shit will be a super fight. You'll have a loss. Look, AJ took a loss. Wilder took a draw. Both have marks, right? Well, JJ's is much severe. He lost his belts. But if he could get them back, that means it's still a unified championship of the world. It won't be undefeated, okay? It will be for Wilder, right? Wilder still wants that money. He still wants that money, you know? Now, Wilder says a lot of stuff in public to a lot of people. But one thing he probably says in private to his wife, his inner circle of people around him in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, fuck, I should have got that money. You know, fuck Andy Ruiz. I don't want to fight that motherfucker for $5 million, right? I want the fucking 100 million. That's a big difference in pay, people. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Wilder wants that money, you know? You know, it might be some kind of moral victory if Ruiz wins again because he knows, well, hey, I can make that fight. I can, you know, I can get this fight with Ruiz easily. And the chances of Wilder beating Ruiz is easy. I would favor Wilder to knock out Ruiz because Wilder knows how to fight tall. He doesn't stoop down. He doesn't crouch down. He doesn't do any of that. He hardly ever throws combinations. So that doesn't really give Ruiz an opportunity to land his own shots because Wilder's not going to come into the inside and throw fucking combinations. That's what AJ's downfall was. That's how he beat AJ. AJ was trying to throw combinations where he shouldn't have been throwing. Deontay ain't going to do that shit. He's going to wait for his shot. Oh, there it is. Boom. Right? That's all Deontay does. That's what makes him so fucking dangerous. Now, if he hurts you, he's going to go in and doing all that. So he's going to do that windmill shit on you. He's going to hit you behind the head, in the ear, right? On the neck. He don't give a shit where it lands. He's going to land it. He's going to, if it lands, it lands. And if the referee okays it, fuck it. What can you do? You know, he's coming for you though. Bomb squad! That fucking guy. And that's what he's gonna yell when he knocks you the fuck out. You know? Gregory Russo, what's up? He's a scrapper. Who's a scrapper? Thank you, brother. Thank you for your support. You know? Fucking, you know, that's one thing. Wilder will knock you the fuck out. He will. But he can be hurt too. It just has to be that person smart enough and patient enough to go in there and implement the same game plan round by round. And you have to focus and be very cautious of Wilder. But it could be done. But that creates nerve-wrackingness, if that's a fucking word, right? So, what's up, smart guy? What's that? What's your question? Fury is a boxer. Yeah, Fury almost done it without problem. He just got too fucking cocky. That was his problem. 9th round, 12th round. He had to fight harder those rounds because he got knocked the fuck down. He got put down. He did not have to do that. He should have stayed off the corner, off of the ropes, right? But he felt that, see, when you get in there with someone like Wilder that's not really, that has a true basis of boxing, his basics are very limited, right? When you're going in there against Wilder and you're able to land a jab or a right hand, right? You do that round after round after round, you start to get the sense of confidence that you shouldn't have. Because at any given minute, that motherfucker could, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, you're up to Shit's Creek. What the fuck happened? Why am I on the floor? Oh, God. 1, 2. That's what you're hearing. You're looking at the ref like, what the fuck are you doing? He's counting because he just got the shit knocked out of you by Deontay Wilder. That's that. You know? George Foreman as a trainer, don't like it. Okay? Yeah, I mean, is that... Smart guy, what's your question? You got a question for me. I don't think Wilder ever has game plans for his fights. No, Babs, you're absolutely right. That motherfucker don't. He has one game plan. Catch you with his right. That's it. I don't give a, he doesn't care how it happens, how it does. Why do you think he always talks, speak it, believe it, receive it? Speak it, believe it, receive it. He ain't thinking about, okay, I'm gonna do this. He does the same shit every fight. Every fight. Now, speaking of training changes, we know Wilder has, before him knocking Dominic Breazeale to spark out, we know he implemented a back to the basics training to himself, right? So he's changed some things. So maybe it's something that he sees or someone, like I said before, someone made him implement, someone higher up. Maybe Al Haymon, like, dude, you're fighting the big swinging dicks now. So you have to train. You can't do that shit you did with Fury, right? He has to implement in a form of attack. But Babs, I think you're right. I don't think he has a game plan at all, besides the same shit. Okay, the reason the super fight never happened is because of Al Haymon. Yeah, I mean, Al Haymon is the guy that stopped that fight from happening because his logic is this. Al Haymon thinks like this. I'm not going to settle for $100 million because I know in 6 months from now, the 100 million can be 150 million, right? If they keep winning. It's risky. He did the same shit with Floyd. The money has to be so big to the point where Al Haymon's like, okay, we can cash out on this. And see, I think John Skipper's problem with that whole deal is they offered too much money. They offered way too much money because now Wilder's walking around, motherfucker, I'm worth $100 million. Can you say he's not worth it? Because that's what he was offered, people. I think they started with too much money. Just like Oscar De La Hoya wanted Canelo to fight Errol Spence and they offered him $20 million. That's way too much fucking money for Errol Spence. Because if you tell somebody that, they're gonna think, well, if this is where the motherfucker started, where's he gonna end at? I'm not gonna take the first offer. What are you, an idiot? So you offer me $100 million, $50 million a fight on Deontay's side, right? Of course he's gonna want more money because you offered him too much money as it is. So it's like, well, if you're starting with 100 million, fuck, maybe you'll end at 200 or maybe 150 million, right? Joseph Parker trainer would be the best person to help AJ. I said that earlier. Absolutely. Lee Rowe. Hendricks. Absolutely. Counterpunch to you. I want to see Bud versus Spence. Yeah, me too, smart guy. Shit. I want to see that too. Wilder had been calling out AJ for quite some time. It was hard to believe that I said Joshua isn't ready for Wilder yet. Well, he called out Wilder like 4 years ago. He called out AJ like 4 years ago. Where was AJ 4 years ago though? The guy's only been fighting 6 years. So that's 2 years in and you wanted to fight someone like that then. Wilder's been fighting for 11 years. 4 years ago, he was fighting for 7. That was his 7th year as a professional at that time, calling out someone that only been in the game for 2. Okay. Now, what Wilder should have done was fought someone like Klitschko, but he wasn't allowed to. See, more Al Haymon shit. Shelly Finkel was, he let the cat out of the bag. No, he's a baby in the sport. He's a baby champion. We're not going to put him in there with big guys that are tough like that. So they orchestrated this guy's whole career, people. That's why now he's going back to the basics. Nicola Austin, love your channel, Kirk, big fan. Thank you very much. Counterpunch to you. And AJ was fighting Dillian White. Yeah, but Dillian White was a guy that beat him in the amateurs. That was a domestic feud, right? Bud Spence ain't going to happen, just any fight that has Al involved. Al's a motherfucker, he gets their fighters paid, but they don't fight each other. That's Al. You know what I mean? And you can't fight someone, he will not fight, or should I say promote any fight or agree to any fight with someone risky that makes money for himself. I explained that earlier with Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz is a guy that was a guinea pig, okay? He was a guinea pig of Al Haymon. Him, Luis Collazo, guys like that. Those are guys that he would be more than happy to throw AJ's way, because those guys aren't top earners for his stable of fighters. You see what I'm saying? This generation is the weakest boxing generation I have seen, because the top fighters simply just don't fight each other. All this claiming to be world level at the state, it's bullshit. All this across the street nonsense is killing the sport. Troy Graham, great counterpunch. Couldn't agree more. PBC is nothing but Al Haymon's version of Don King version. He's getting his fighters paid, but never puts them in position to be great. No, he doesn't want to. He wants to keep earning them money so they can always stay loyal to him and not go anywhere else to test themselves. Because if you're getting these guys paid, they're comfortable with fighting lesser opposition. Ask Deontay Wilder about that. Will you? Yeah, he's killing the sport. I mean, it is what it is. What are we going to do about it? Then they end up like Broner. Yep. Graham Mitchell. Salute. Salute to you, brother. At least Don King got the fight. Fans, yeah. Don King was actually a good promoter, and he was able to work with other people also. Al Haymon is like the new improved Don King and shit. He does the opposite, though, if you notice. He's not in your face. Only in America, baby. He throws the punches and bunches. My fighter's going to do what everybody else is not going to ever do, because he's true to the game. This is Don King, only in America. He doesn't do that shit. He's completely the opposite. You'll never see that motherfucker. If you notice a camera's ever on Al Haymon, you'll see that motherfucker kind of do this. I saw him one time in a dressing room in a Floyd fight, and he was talking to Floyd, and then like the camera fucking angled on him and shit, and then he was just kind of like, you know what I mean? Shit was crazy. You could tell, like, did this motherfucker kill somebody once upon a time? Why is he so secretive like that? And I never really dug secretive people. Because even the fact of being like that secretive just puts me suspicious of you. Like, why the fuck can't you say where you're from or who you are or whatever? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But man, I tell you, But it's crazy though. Al Haymon, you know, yeah, he loves his animosity. He does. He loves being that motherfucker behind the scenes. And he said it himself. He does not want to be a star. He does not want to be anything other than a businessman, and that's what he is. You know what I mean? You know, Lee Turton, yeah. I mean, that's how Ruiz talks. He talks like, he talks mellow. He's a mellow talker, you know? And then that's how he fooled everyone. He tricked the shit out of everyone. You know, like, look, Ruiz tricked people like this. He was like, he comes in all humble and shit, fucking head all down and shit. You know what I mean? Like, hello, hi, I'm Andy Ruiz. I'm here to fight. I'm thankful for the opportunity. This means a lot to me. It's a blessing. You love to say that, blessings. It's a blessing just to be here. And I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to shock the world. So believe it, I'm going to win. That dude is a fucking riot. And then he went in there and fucking went bombs over Baghdad and shit. You know, and fucking Joshua was looking at this guy like, oh, fuck. I gotta fight this dude, man. I don't want to beat this dude up. You know what I mean? And he ended up getting beat the fuck up. That's the hilarious part. He tricked every fucking body. But he let the cat out of the bag because people know now how slow talk AJ straight to sleep. Fuck yeah, he did. AJ, you know, he sounds like Jay-Z and shit when he laughs and shit. And he's like, man, I don't want to fight this fucking guy. So it was amazing, man. And he fooled people and shit, fat, pudgy ass dude. But he had a game plan of destruction. But who knew? Who would think that coming out of that fucking mug? Coming out of this dude's pie hole talking like that. I'm Andy Ruiz, you know? But you fail to realize the motherfucker's name was Destroyer. You know what I mean? Shit, you would think he'd be like fucking Sweet Bear or something. You know what I mean? You know, some fucking soft name on his demeanor. Yeah, he said it a few times. He didn't want to be in the ring with him. He didn't. He wanted to be in the ring with fucking roidy ass Miller. That's who he wanted. Because Miller had pissed him off. You know. And you can imagine, like, a motherfucker that you wanted to fight for a long time, right? You couldn't stand this motherfucker. You're pissed. You had a bone with this motherfucker, right? And he was like, you know what? I'm going to meet that dude and I'm going to beat his ass. Right? So you come around there hot, pissed off, ready to fight, right? And then it ain't the dude at all. It's some other motherfucker. You know? What are you going to do? What are you going to channel your energy on another motherfucker? It's like, how can you really do that? I don't even think that's possible. Like, you know what I mean? That's like someone pushing you, like you're walking somewhere and someone pushes you and you come around with a punch and, you know, and it's not even the fucking person. You punch the wrong person. You're going to naturally feel remorse. Like, oh shit, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? The Anvil. Andy the Anvil Ruiz Jr. David Mason. Oh, great, man. You guys are a trip. You know? Show me. You bet on Ruiz? Did you show me? I mean, did you bet on him before? Because fuck, I wish I would have. Man, that's what I was thinking. Like, fuck, I wish I went to Vegas and put about 500 on fucking Ruiz. You know the odds of that shit? You know what the odds were? They were like fucking 25 to 1. Cause I know it was at first, it was like 50 something to 1. I think it got down to like 26, 27 to 1. It's fucking crazy, you know? That shit would have been wild, you know? But who knew? Who knew that? You know, no one knew that shit. So if you put money on Ruiz in the first fight, motherfucker, you need to show me. You need to show me. That's what you got to do. Ruiz was 50 to 1 in the UK on Sky Bet. Christ. Oh, a friend of mine won 5 racks. Are you serious, Babs? What the hell? Damn. So, hey. But look, I'm going to tell you guys a story. I used to bet on boxing, you know, me and my expertise when I was about 20 years old. And I stopped. The last fight I ever bet on was Oscar De La Hoya versus Felix Trinidad. And the funny thing about it, I bet like 500 on Trinidad that he would win, and I won. But the funny thing about it was everyone knew De La Hoya beat Trinidad. So I was shitting balls. You know what I mean? I was shitting balls the whole fight. I was just dumbfounded when they called Trinidad to be the winner. But I knew that was a sign. Never fucking bet again. I tried to bet a cousin of mine. God rest in peace. God bless the dead. And my cousin, he's the same age. And we used to watch boxing together, right? And this was Oscar De La Hoya versus Manny Pacquiao. And I thought Manny Pacquiao was going to get fucking smoked. I said, ain't nowhere that fucking little guy's going to beat Oscar De La Hoya. With that left hook, De La Hoya's going to slap him with that left hook and knock him in the fucking 5th row. And my cousin was like, nah, I ain't going to bet you. I'm not going to bet you. But he's going to win, though. I was like, I'll bet you $50. I was big and bold. I'll bet you $50. He's like, nah. But I know he's not gonna win. So anyway, saw the fight. That's all I was like the whole fucking fight, right? And the first person that called me was my fucking cousin. And like, for years I had it on voicemail, and that shit was hilarious. And he calls and shit. He's like, hey, motherfucker, I told you that Oscar De La Hoya couldn't beat that Philippine. Motherfucker, I should have took you $50. Get at me. Answer the phone. You know? And it was like, and I was like, oh, fuck. So, nah, I never bet on that again. Nothing else, you know? And we know that fight was what, over 11 years ago now. Wow. Over 11 years. Can't even enjoy the fight when you're putting money on it. No, you can't, Babs. That's the fucked up part. It becomes a business at that time. You know? That shit builds anxiety. You know? Okay, I'm betting on Andy Ruiz in the rematch. Okay, that's logical. You know? I wish I just had fucking Doc Brown's time machine. Shit, I'd put everything I have on Ruiz. You know what I mean? Joyce H., watching you from London. Love you, Kurt. You and both honest and funny. Thank you very much. Thank you for that counterpunch. My mate is Lee Swaby, Southpaw. He fought Fury years back. Let's work. Lee's words, very awkward both in front of him. Bacoli, the next heavyweight champion. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Do you think George Foreman is a good choice for AJ Kurt? You know what? I said it earlier. I think more of Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis would be perfect for him because Lennox Lewis is where Joshua wants to be and he needs to fight. If he's going to emulate anyone, it would be Lennox Lewis, with combinations, with using his height, his jab, his aggression. He should fight like Lennox Lewis. You know, but I don't see that happening because, you know, Lennox Lewis, you know, he claims not to be a Joshua hater. He just critiques what he sees, but it's kind of hard to believe that when he's so tied up into the PBC's bullshit. You know what I mean? So But honestly, I would like to see Lennox Lewis, and it would be one of those people that only critique him as much as he does because he knows what's best for him. Maybe that's the case, you know? Yeah, he's a hater, but I think he would be the best for Joshua. That's my honest opinion. You know, he's a fighter, but I think he's so close to Wilder and I think the only reason he's close to Wilder like he is now is because of the PBC shit and the connections with Al Haymon and all that. You know, Mark McGowan, morning from Scotland. Counterpunch to you, brother. Welcome. Barry Hensland, Fury for the win. On points, absolutely on points. It could be a stoppage. But Wilder is tough, though. I give him that. You know, he is a tough guy. He gets buckled and shit, but he did not go down. But that doesn't make him indestructible, right? Ruiz has started to spew PBC tribal. It's a shame. Well, yeah. See, he was a guinea pig. Now he's a pawn. He's a prisoner. He's upgraded himself. See, he meant so less to Al Haymon, right? That Al Haymon could throw him to any other network. Do you think he had done that shit with Luis Ortiz? No. That's why Ortiz couldn't take that fucking money. You know? Luis Ortiz doesn't have a promotional company. He has an advisor, and his name is Al Haymon. That's his promotional company. They had to talk to Al Haymon before doing anything. When it got back to Al Haymon that Luis Ortiz was contacted by Hearn, he said no. That's it. Right? Wilder, no, it's not enough money. Those guys can't do what they want to do. Right? But Ruiz, sure. We don't need you for anything. You ain't made us shit. You know, we're probably broke even, you know what I mean, with the amount of money that they've made from him or whatnot, you know. But we don't need him. Sure, he can fight on DAZN. Why not? Get the paperwork. Let's get it signed. Right? They okayed it. Now it's cool. Right? AJ always said he loved Evander Holyfield. Don't think Lewis like that. Maybe. But then Holyfield, you know, he had a lot to say about AJ with the money and shit too. So, I mean, I don't know. But you got to remember, Anthony Joshua's not a hater, though. You know, that's the thing about it. He's not a hater. You know. So it's one of those things, man. Lee Rowe, I'm glad to see you on here, bro. You know what I mean? I think I saw, gave you a shout out earlier, but I'm glad to see you on here, man. You know, you're going to catch it sooner or later because I'm going to keep doing them. What's up for Scotland? A7842. Scotland in the house. Counterpunch to you, Scotland. Lewis does critique a lot of fighters, though, to be honest. Yeah, to be fair, he does. He does, you know. But I'm like if you notice with Lewis, though, Lewis has a lot of critiquing to do with Anthony Joshua. And it's almost like, okay, you said that he should get rid of McCracken. Motherfucker, what's wrong with you? You know, you're saying that, oh, he can't, you know, you can't go to university on the 3rd grade education. That's what his words. Well, put your money where your mouth is. Let's see you walk the walk since you're talking the talk. That's what I'd say. You know, extend your hand out to Anthony Joshua and like, hey, I want to train you. You know? I know he did recommend, and I think he did recommend Foreman. You know? So, Ben Edwards, yes, Kurt. Quality show. Lewis is a hater. Yeah, you know, he's drinking that haterade when it comes to AJ. But I think he could help AJ instead of hate AJ. You know what I mean? Michael Pare. Greetings from Africa. Shouts out to you. What part of Africa? Africa's a very big place. Michael Heisman, Lewis is in his prime, beats AJ all day long, twice on Sundays. Absolutely. You know, Lennox Lewis is a very underrated champion. I didn't like Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis made me respect him, but that didn't mean I liked him. I respected him. I respected his boxing ability. I had to respect what he did to David Tua. I was a huge David Tua fan back in the day, and he fucking put David Tua on a boxing clinical episode. You know what I mean? I was pissed. Of course, how he did Mike Tyson, I was even more pissed. You know? But he made me respect him. I had to respect him. Didn't like him as a champion. I was so happy when Nazi Rockman knocked him the fuck out. You know what I mean? He just didn't, I don't know. You know, I guess I respected him more after the fact because of what we had to look forward to, and that was the Klitschko's. And I think he should have gave Vitali that rematch. I do. You know what I mean? I'll say it again and again. You know? Lucy J, Nicole Austin, I've met AJ and he is different off camera. Cool, how so? Elaborate, please. McCracken had no advice for Joshua apart from plan A. I would have got rid of him as well. The what shot did he hit me with? Question from Joshua was answered by the words, both. Useless. Yeah, that's, you know, he got hit with a left hook. And if he couldn't tell him that, that means he wasn't paying attention to the fight at hand. He should have saw that, if anything, you know? But then again, if you got a trainer that you've always been with, he's not experienced with someone with a loss or dealing with a loss or dealing with a losing fighter in the ring. He's not accustomed to that, you know? Closest thing he got was probably Klitschko, right? Yeah, Lucy. How different? Yeah, I need to hear this. Gassed out over that crown on the canvas. Yeah, sharing the Bravo to you, Counterpunch. Keep going. Foreman is the best choice, I think. Lewis is a hater, and he did turn his coat after AJ lost. Well, yeah, he's done a lot of hating. I agree on that. BA13100. Lucy J. When I seen him in London and asked for his autograph, he just went psst and walked away. Maybe he was having a bad day, but I got a feeling he was being a dick. You know, it's funny when you do meet people that are celebrities or public figures, right? You have to be careful on each and every time you come in interaction with someone, because you never know who's going to see you and what, you know. I know you people can have a bad day. And I work with all types of celebrities all day, you know. Every time I work, it's someone on set. And like my last show, I was in New Orleans, and I was working with a Korean actress, and she came off dry, you know, didn't really speak, didn't talk. But I keep my distance from people because, you know, you got people with egos and stuff like that, you know. And again, you have to be careful because a lot of people are just really dickish, you know. Then sometimes you do catch them at a bad time. You know, it depends on what those people are going through. Because at the end of the day, everyone is human, right? So, but maybe people change. People are different when they don't have the fucking camera on them. You know, that might be the case. You know, who knows? You know, it's one of those trial and errors. You know, those shows you see on YouTube that like, hey, the 10 most rudest celebrities that are not that nice, and you know what I mean? Because they get exposed, and they will get exposed. So if he does that shit enough, Lucy, he's gonna be exposed if that's his true demeanor, you know? I haven't heard a lot of people say that, but I'm not saying that to discredit you, because that's your interaction with him. So if anybody asks you, it's like, hey, you know, this motherfucker, you know, kind of just blew me off, right? I will say when I was working on Black Panther, I got that impression from the Black Panther himself, you know, and he was one of those, he wasn't rude, he was just to himself. Because I know, like, hey, you know, a lot of people don't want to fuck with me. Okay, that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, you know, if Chadwick Boseman's having a bad day, I'm not going to fuck with Chadwick Boseman. Because, you know, I'm working right beside this guy, you know. But Michael B. Jordan was really fucking cool. You know, he was cool as shit. AJ must have had a bad day. He's always for his fans, and he's a gentleman. Okay, well, see, there you go. That's another perspective, you know. Who honestly thinks AJ would win against Wilder? I'm not sure anymore. Well, I mean, what time is it there? Where you at, Kurt? I am in Louisiana, and it is 1:47 a.m. When I went, let's see what the hell. I went to an AJ evening with AJ. Oh, okay, gotcha. So he was real happy and nice when the cameras were on him, you know? But if you think about it, he does hang around a circle of people that you know that he can kind of unwind with, you know what I mean? I remember Dillian White actually mentioning some shit like that too about AJ, and it's like, nah, he's not the same kind of motherfucker when, you know, behind closed doors. When he, you know, right after he called him a lanky piece of shit, and I'm talking about that lanky piece of shit over there. That's who I'm talking about, all right? But, you know, who thinks Wilder will ever fight either Ruiz or Joshua? I'm not sure. Because for all we know, Wilder might just be saying fuck it and becoming an actor. If he gets enough acting gigs, he can leave the sport of boxing. You know, he can do like a Ronda Rousey, a Victor Ortiz before he fucked his life up. Rampage Jackson, Roy Jones, you know, Lennox Lewis, right? But if you go on the silver screen, don't go back into the ring, okay? Because your focus will be split, definitely. And AJ Fines are telling the truth. He's not the perfect and young from off Frank Bruno. Let's be honest, from the Ruiz fight, nothing surprises me. James Ferentz, Josh has a big problem. He's starting to question his own abilities in the ring. Well, he did. He did. He admitted that, well, I guess the day before yesterday now, right? On the 6th. So, you know, that's the music of the times. You know, I grew up in the 80s, so you got to represent Babs. If Ruiz managed to beat AJ again, Ruiz then gets beat by Usyk. You know what? That's funny, because that might happen. But that's how it works. We see who beats who is better than who. It's just a process of elimination. You know, it could be one of those situations where Joshua, you think he's out, and then, damn, that's a little kitten. Where'd that little kitten come from? Wow. Anyway. And then AJ can do something like Ali did, right? He can be beaten a couple times and come back and beat the guy that no one thought he could beat, you know? So it's funny, you know, styles make fights. They have some dance crap. It's pretty much 80s rock and 90s in here. You know, everything from Stone Temple Pilots, Nirvana, you know, Alice in Chains, and you know, so got a nice body bag here, nice, you know, nice boxing gear here. You know, I'll get off and work out for a while. Watching you from Austria, bro. Nice. Counterpunch to you. Isn't Usyk fight supposed to be coming up? Yeah. Usyk is the mandatory though. He's the mandatory for the belt. So if Ruiz can beat Joshua, or if Joshua beats Ruiz, they have to see Usyk. It's for the WBO mandatory. Since Usyk was the undisputed champion, just like Bud Crawford, they're able to come in automatically as the mandatory for that particular belt in that weight class. Okay, if that makes sense. That's why Dillian White was pissed off about that. But Usyk is the man. He has the mandatory position, so he fights the winner out of Ruiz and Joshua. But what fucked up Usyk was, because we could have had a great